Hello everyone and welcome to SplitSecond. This week we are joined by Cameron and Dylan from Play to Win. We played a couple of matches and you'll be able to see one of those on their channel, so if you don't know them yet, go check them out. Dylan brought his own take on Nath of the gilt-leaf, Leite is on his own Birgi Storm, Baal brought Orvar the All form, and Cam is on KFC Kenrith combo. Cam won the die roll and mulligan once, finding a misty rainforest and a volcanic island for lands, with two tutors to get things going, Imperial Seal and Demonic Tutor, Mental Misstep for protection and Snap for interaction, while Ristic Study will keep his hand full. Dylan kept his first 7, pretty ramped up, Llanowar Wastes, Cavern of Souls and Agadim's Awakening for a potential third land. Soul Ring and Carpet of Flowers is great versus a mono blue deck. Crimson Zenith can get him a Collector Oof or a combo piece to maybe pair with Sadistic Hypnotist, to make his opponents hell-bent. Leite mulligan once and found Gemstone Caverns, alongside 2 mountains and a Dwarven Ruins, which will be enough to cast Birgi turn 1, with the help of Mox Diamond as well. Helm of Awakening is mostly cast on Storming turns, and Reforge the Soul unfortunately won't be cast for its miracle cost, but he has plenty of mana to hardcast it though. Lastly, Baal mulligan down to 6, finding 2 islands and a mana crypt, paired with an energy tap that will most likely serve as fodder for his Force of Will to fire a turn 1 Windfall. He bottomed Narset's Reversal. Ready for this match? Before the game starts, Leite announces his luck with the Gemstone Caverns, exiling a mountain. Cameron then starts his turn with a Misty Rainforest, cracking it for an Underground Sea, and casts an Imperial Seal, to drink for a Dockside Extortionist to the top. Dylan then goes to his turn, plays a Llanowar Wastes and casts Carpet of Flowers, hoping to bank in from the Underground Sea, but in response, Baal does fire his Force of Will, as most of his game plan revolves around cloning islands. Dylan sadly passes and Leite updecks an Ancient Tomb, allowing him to cast Birgi turn 1. He ponders for a bit but actually decides to pass, hoping to will next turn with his Mox Diamond's trigger. Baal gets to his turn and plays an island, he follows it with a Mana Crypt, and then casts Windfall. Suddenly, the aggressive Force of Will on Carpet makes sense. Everyone draws 6 and he then casts a Chrome Mox, actually imprinting a Fierce Guardianship before passing. Cam was quite unlucky with the Will, so he simply casts a Deathrite Shaman and passes, missing a land drop. Dylan plays an Exotic Orchard and casts a Scavenging Ooze before passing as well. Leite plays a Prismatic Vista and cracks it for a mountain. He then casts a Chromatic Star, triggering Birgi for red. He then casts Skullclamp, triggering Birgi again. He uses his floating mana and casts Wheel of Misfortune, getting another red from his goddess. The table probes life totals and everyone casts their vote. Leite loses 13 and everyone but Dylan wheels, which appears that he was okay with both decisions since he didn't go for a 0 nor a higher value. Leite then proceeds to cast a Chromatic Sphere, going even on mana and cracks the sphere to draw a card, and then the star to draw another one. He then casts a Crookshank Kobolds, getting another red, and then casts a Ruby Medallion for another red. He follows that with the Grinning Ignis, that paired up with the Medallion Rubid and Birgi allows him to get infinite generic mana and infinite storm. Baal and Cam unfortunately pass, and the doom is imminent, as Leite shows that after several wheels he also found Aetherflux Reservoir, so he is able to cast it, repeat Ignis Loop and gain enough life to laser beam the entire table. GG. After this fast game, we decided to play another one. Still lucky, Leite won the die roll and mulligan once to find in turn 2 Birgi, with Dwarven Ruins and a mountain. Rograk is just 3 mana with Birgi, while the rest of his hand is full of cantrips. Overmaster, Thrill of Possibility and the Desperate Ritual, which might not be so desperate with the bonus round available. Baal mulligan down to 6, digging for a faster Orvar cast. A single City of Traitors can be enough to cast Soul Ring, Arcane Signet and Phyrexian Metamorph for 7 mana on turn 2, with Unsubstantiate and Mana Drain for protection. He bottomed High Tide. Cameron kept his first 7 with a Mana Confluence, Tropical Island and Verdant Catacombs for lands. Talisman of Dominance and Dockside Extortionist for ramp. Quelling Ritual is a great newcomer and Intuition can provide him some winning piles through mid-game. Finally, Dylan also kept his first hand with another Carpet of Flowers, Snow-Covered Swamp, Bayou and a Phyrexian Tower for lands, with Torpor Orb to deter any Dockside shenanigans. Chalice of the Void can be great on 0 or 1 to slow down fast mana and cantrips, while Death Cloud will mostly be used alongside Nath or Tergrid for extra value. Ready for game 2? Leite humbly starts with the Dwarven Ruins and passes. Baal draws and plays a Cephalid Colosseum, changing his plans to a Soul Ring. He then casts an Arcane Signet and passes. Cam plays a Tropical Island and passes as well. Dylan plays a Bayou and casts his Carpet of Flowers, which this time resolves. He has no payoff like last game, so he passes. Leite plays a mountain and sacrifices his Dwarven Ruins for double red to cast a Birgi before passing. Baal plays a City of Traitors and Dylan protests.
Are you kidding me? No islands in the first 2 turns? This is why I kept the whole hand as the Carver Flowers.
Baal then casts a Phyrexian Metamorph, entering as a copy of Arcane Signet. He then casts an Orvar, the Old Form, and passes. Cam plays a Badlands and casts a Talisman of Dominance before passing. Dylan draws and adds 1 green with his Carpet to cast an Utopian Sprawl on his Bayou, naming Black. He plays a Snow-covered Swamp and casts a Green Sun Zenith for 2. The table is bracing for the UF already, it just needs to be found. Zenith is shuffled and we are on Leite's turn. He starts with a mountain and casts a Desperate Ritual, starting to count mana and storm already. He then casts a bonus round, getting 1 red from Birgi, and now all his spells will be duplicated until end of turn. He casts an Overmaster, getting 1 red and duplicating the spell for 2 draws. He then casts Thrill of Possibility, discarding a mountain and getting 1 red and drawing 4 cards. He follows it with a semi-free Faithless Looting, as he gets another red from Birgi and a copy from bonus round, digging 4 cards deeper. He then casts Hagel, also getting 1 red from the cast and a copy from bonus round. He now casts Roguerack, going 1 red positive. He follows it with a Pirate Spell Bomb, just for added storm as he's unable to activate it. He then casts a Gutshot, paying 2 life and pinging Dylan for 1, getting 1 red from Birgi and a copy also aimed at Dylan. He doesn't need to take out Oof just yet, as he doesn't want to release Cam's Talisman mana. He now has 3 mana, which only means one thing: Wheel of Misfortune. It nets him 1 mana from Birgi and everyone casts their vote. Leite takes a whopping 26 damage and wheels, as well as Baal and Cameron. The wheel is then copied due to bonus round and now only Leite and Cam will. Cam loses 10 life in the process and then Leite casts Crookshank Kobolds, getting 1 red from Birgi and follows it with Skull Clamp, going even on mana. He now casts Infernal Plunge, sacrificing the Crookshank for an extra red from Birgi and a copy from bonus round, for a total of 8 mana. 2 of those are spent on a Cathartic Reunion, getting 1 red and drawing 6 cards. He then casts Crash Through, going even on mana and drawing 2 more. He casts Sol Ring, going up on storm, and then Warlord's Fury, even on mana but drawing 2 cards. He now casts Underworld Breach and it seems we're closing the end. He escapes Desperate Ritual for extra mana and then escapes Grinning Ignis to be able to generate Infinite Storm. As he doesn't have any cost reducing effect, he simply goes even on mana on each cast and bounce iteration. He casts Magmatic Insight from hand, going even on mana and drawing 4 cards. He finds and casts a Runaway Steam Kin, so he can now generate infinite red mana with his Grinning Ignis loop, removing 3 counters each time. With infinite mana and infinite storm, he now only needs to find his finishers. He starts by escaping Valakut Awakening, putting 6 cards on the bottom and drawing 7. With a copy from bonus round still on the stack, he responds with an Expedite, drawing 2, and then Crimson Wisps, drawing 2 more. He then lets Valakut's copy resolve, putting 9 cards on the bottom and drawing 10. He didn't found Reservoir, but instead found Twin Flame and Dualcaster Mage, being able to generate infinite Dualcaster Mage with haste and attack everyone for lethal. GG. Thank you for joining us for today's match, everyone. Birgi showed its full outburst potential twice. If you enjoyed this match, check out Play to Win's channel for an upcoming video on the 3rd match we played in this session. We'd like to start the credits by thanking our current patrons, and especially Izanagi, Stefan, TJ Rap, Mike Purr, Jimo, and Crucible, Drunken Housecat, V, RJ, and Heated Chill, our stack breakers. If you want to support us, you can do so by liking this video, subscribing, or by becoming a patron yourself. If you want to go through other Commander adventures, click one of the videos on the right. If you want to talk with us about our games or other EDH related matters, join us on Discord. Join us again next week for a new set of commanders and more decisive plays. See you all then.